and like that was the only thing that just really got me hooked. And when I was programming I had to learn Polish to learn assembler, because the only book about assembler in our library was in Polish. So I had to learn the words and then learn some assembler, then basic. So
if I had a hat, I'd take it off twice.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's an
That's pretty
achievement.
badass.
Yes.
I mean, no, it's like just that was the goal. Like, do games, like how do games work? What are the pixels? How are they created? And like, I got hooked, and yeah, so I will always make games, board games, or I don't know, anything.
Just out of curiosity, what was the first game you remember being like, I want to dissect this and know everything and how it works under the hood?
Yeah, I would say like the first when I first came in contact with, like, I used to code, right? Some stupid games, but nothing special. But when I really knew that like this is something that I want to do full time, and I can't do this full time, it was Hammer Editor. Like probably then, and maybe yeah, it was like Counter-Strike, and I started doing maps for Counter-Strike, and also then Quake. Because like in our country, it was really like the progress, how you maybe got in contact with video games was linear. How they were released, and that's when you were able to get them. But in our country, we were not able to get a game. There were no shops, and if there was a shop, the amount of money that you will have to spend was like a half of a month's salary of a like an adult person. So we all, of course, had to like pirate the games because we had no chance. And now I have a collection of games that I used to love when I was a kid and couldn't have. So yeah, so when I got in contact with the Hammer Editor, then Quake Radiant was there too, and then Morrowind came, and editor for Morrowind, like and Oblivion, and like. But the game that we used to play around a lot and like modifying the CFGs was Operation Flashpoint with my buddy in university. We spent a lot of time with that, and I actually spent a lot of time with text adventures on Commodore 64.
Wow, that's going back. Wow.
No, I used to start on PMD-85. Like it was a local Czechoslovakian micro computer. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's something I always love hearing about, is like the different countries, like there was like different consoles and like different computers that like, most people just will never hear about otherwise.
Yeah, like, like there was a wall between our side of the world and yours, but man, old times. But now it's better, much better. Hopefully it stays this way, because like our country, don't want to get political, but it's crazy.
Yeah. So bringing the subject then back to Gravelord then, and in terms of kind of audience expectation and the type of game that they feel, works within like the boomer shooter scene, do you tailor specific mechanics towards like an ideal player?
That's a really good question. Basically, what we do, we play the game a lot, and we go by our guts quite a lot. We try to listen to the players, but the ideal player, I think it doesn't exist, because then everyone would just try to buy the game. But I think you can also see that the difficulty in the game is not really what it might be ideal right now. But what we do is that I play the game and I have to decide if the difficulty is okay, because like the guys, they play it quite a lot and they get better, and suddenly we have a game that no one wants to play because it's too hard. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
I can't remember if I'm playing on normal or hard, but I mean, I feel like the game, it has a decent challenge at times as far as like how much damage you're taking and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a old school shooter, so you gotta do a lot of bobbing and weaving and jumping around and stuff to not be able to get absolutely obliterated. But
what
I
we want to do. Sorry.
I was gonna say, whenever I'm bunny hopping in the game, I literally hear the Quake Ranger go in the back of my head.
Yeah.
It's the exact same movement with the mechanics.
Yeah, so we really wanted to make the game feel like Quake, because Quake is, for me, like when I start Iron Whale and I play some of the community maps in Quake, like my mind goes like, it relaxes. Something happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like like I'm home, like yes.
Yeah.
and even like I have a 144 hertz monitor, and the Quake on Iron Whale, it runs super fast, so it's so smooth, and it's so like something in my brain just goes like,
Just
Yeah,
massages your brain.
yeah. And so we wanted to go with this, and yeah, I mean,
I think you
don't know,
achieved
like,
that quite well. The feeling of Quake. I mean,
I'm
as
happy
far as
with
like the gameplay and design, I feel like it's very Quake. And then you got that the tone is like a build engine, a Shadow Warrior or a Duke Nukem or something, where you get those quips and that character that, you know, Quake is great from a visual and gameplay perspective. So you know, a lot of the draw is in how it plays and what you're looking at. But there's not like a lot of character to the person you're playing. Whereas, you know, I feel like Build Engine is the only one of that time that really did that well. Is, you know, the quips and the things like that really made the character. You know what I mean? It gave personality to the character.
we tried that. We also did this with Vaporum. So we had like a strong character. It's not four character party, but one character, the main character. Yeah.
And outside of the narrative aspect of like the tarot cards, what made you choose to go with that as like the way of getting skills and upgrades in the game? Because I actually didn't even notice, because it's just me not paying attention, I think, but that you have the tiers. And see, I thought every time I picked up tarot cards that I was getting new cards. So I was like, yeah. But actually the whole time I was trading cards out. I'm like, oh no. Because when I finally noticed, I was like, no. So I started losing stuff. I'm like, why am I not doing this anymore?
Yeah, this is actually something that we can do better, that we will try to redeem. So yeah, there are 3 tiers of the cards, and they basically it's based on the amount of how it manipulates the card, manipulates the result of you shooting or like basically you playing. But we also had a couple of fun cards like the rat spawning card. I don't remember the name.
I love that
right
one.
now.
Yeah, I accidentally gave that one away. I didn't mean to, but I love that one. I think you have to like, what is it? After like 2 enemies or something, there's a 50% chance of it spawning or whatever.
Probably Matty would be the
something
right
like that.
person.
But I would sit there and it would spawn, and I knew this was a thing, but then I'd start shooting it and just unloading ammo on it.
Yeah,
like, why is it not dying? And then it's like, oh wait, it's friendly.
That's why we made it yellow, because like previously when it was blue and just bigger.
But my brain's just like, enemy, shoot it. Like
Exactly. So maybe we will try to make this more visible for the player, that they are friendly. But there's multiple things that we basically wanted to have in the game. It used to be a weapon,
like a highlight over it,
like a whistle, and you would whistle it, and then reds would spawn, right? But that didn't work that well, and so we changed this in this way. But we'll see.
The little blue rats, like they mess with me sometimes, because I'm like, I don't see them, and you're like nah.
Mate actually hates them a lot, and he really
get rats in games. They're just so hard to hit on the floor. I've wasted so many shotgun shells and stuff trying to hit a rat.
Even in Dusk it's the same.
So with the, you know, you got the tarot card system, right? So did you ever in the development think of making the game a roguelike, since that,
yes,
at least for me, seemed like a roguelike-ish mechanic?
There's this one part that I talked about with the publishers. So we did have a deal on the table with one big publisher, which didn't go through because of this stuff that happened in the industry and everything started falling apart. But it should have been like a multiplayer co-op, something between Left 4 Dead and roguelike, and you should have like the cards there and a lot of mechanics. But we basically just had to get back on what's the word? Sorry, back on our feet, back on track, and just concentrate on the game, because we lost a lot of time with trying to cater to the ideas of the publishers, and it was a huge waste of time. And then also, like, we were not like, it wasn't a huge budget, you know. So when I see what they're doing now, I'm like,
it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, like, that being an original concept kind of idea, like
it was like just one pivot that we tried to get for the publisher. It actually always was supposed to be just one boom shooter.
So that's kind of like, I was going to say, because that's kind of what Dross, our last guest, like his game is like a Left 4 Dead kind of roguelike experience. So it was just interesting for you to say
which
that.
one is that? Which
Dross?
Dross, yeah.
Okay,
our previous guest it's a science fiction shooter, and it looks
3-ish.
amazing. It does, yeah. It looks amazing.
I would try it because I love those games. Actually, like in myself, like right now we are thinking like after Gravelord we will basically have to scale down. There's no other thing that you can do in this market. We basically have all the tools now that to make FPS shooters and boomer shooters. We really have all the knowledge. We have all the technology. We have like an awesome level editor. And I have to say that this will be one of my favorite updates for the game when the level editor and Steam Workshop support goes out. Because like we have also a couple of interesting people making content for it then when it goes online.
I've seen a lot of people have a lot of interest in the level editor. Maya was actually somebody I saw in his video that he really is interested in the level editor.